Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're sinking into a really fascinating stack of sources. They approach professional growth not with lists and rules, but with questions.
That's right. Specifically, it's about sales expansion. And the mission of this deep dive really is to unpack this idea that your routine can actually become a ceiling for your
A
success.
ceiling.
Yeah. It's about shifting your whole perspective,
Yeah.
from being a salesman to more of a market explorer.
And what I found so interesting is how personal it is. The sources pose this core question: are those familiar outlets you visit every single day actually helping you grow? Or are they maybe accidentally limiting you?
It's all about challenging your assumptions. And they don't waste any time. The source material it opens with this incredibly sharp question, a real anchor for the whole discussion.
What is it?
It just asks right up front, is your daily routine of 40 outlets limiting your daily income?
Okay, that hits hard. Let's unpack that. The familiar 40 trap. Why 40? It feels like such a specific number.
Well, it's a stand-in. It represents that comfort zone, the route you've perfected, the one that feels efficient. But that's exactly why it's so dangerous.
Because efficiency feels like progress.
Exactly. It creates an illusion of it. So the core thought here is, if you really want to increase your sales, you have to stop asking, how can I sell more to my existing customers?
And instead ask.
Instead, you have to ask, what new action am I taking today? Growth starts with breaking yesterday's pattern.
And they make that newness feel really achievable. It's not some grand strategy. It's about micro exploration.
Yes. The sources ask you to check in with yourself. Like, did you enter a new street, a little lane of gully, as they say in the local context?
Right. Or did you visit a new neighborhood you usually just drive past?
Or even simpler, did you just walk into one new shop? Just one.
And I love that it's framed as a question. It's not a command. It's not, you must go to a new street.
No, it's did you. The focus is entirely on your own self-assessment. If you're asking for more income, are you doing something new to get it? If not, well, you're sort of accepting your current limit.
So to make this real, the source tells a story. It's about a salesman named Ravi in Charkhand.
Yes, and Ravi is the perfect example of this trap. He was dedicated, consistent. He visited the same 40 shops, day in, day out. His sales were stable.
But flat, no growth.
No growth at all. And this is where the genius of the questioning approach comes in. His distributor didn't give him a lecture.
He didn't send him to a training seminar.
No, nothing like that. He offered no advice, just one incredibly powerful question. He just asked him, Ravi, how many new outlets did you add last month?
Ooh. And you can just imagine the silence after that.
Total silence. Ravi had no answer. And that void, that lack of an answer, forced him to ask himself the real question.
If I want to move forward, what new thing do I need to do?
Precisely. The change came from his own realization, not from being told what to do.
So what did he do? How did his behavior change?
It was a simple shift, but a profound one. He looked beyond his usual 40 shops. He went down a small lane nearby, the kind of place you'd normally ignore.
Because the shocks look too small, maybe not worth the time?
Right. And he found 7 new outlets. 5 little Patient shops and 2 stationary shops.
But wait, there's a risk there, isn't there? I mean, if he's spending time on these tiny shops, is he neglecting his reliable, profitable 40? Time is money.
That's the classic conflict. But you have to see this as an investment, not a distraction. And his approach proves it. The source is very clear. He did not pressure them for a sale.
So what did he do?
Just talk to them. He gave them a few small trial items, like 5 and 10 rupee snacks. There was zero expectation of an order.
He was building a connection, not making a transaction.
Yes, building rapport. And the result? Just 2 months later, his personal income was up by 3,000 rupees.
Wow. That's a significant, sustainable increase.
It's huge. And it came from curiosity, not from pressure. It led Ravi to his big realization.
Which was what?
That the market wasn't saturated. His thinking was. He had been limiting himself. And that brings us right to the key mindset shift in this whole story.
Don't be a salesman, be a market explorer.
That reframe is everything. An explorer's job is to find what's new. Now, from there, the sources pivot to a kind of reality check.
Right. They scale the idea up. They start with a few questions you have to ask yourself about your own market.
Yeah, simple but necessary questions. Like every year, some shops close down, right? So it just happens.
Sure.
So if you aren't actively looking for new ones, your business is slowly eroding. You're shrinking without even realizing it.
And on the flip side of that, new shops are always opening. New neighborhoods are being built.
And who gets there first? You or your competitor.
Yeah.
If you're stuck on your familiar 40 route, You're basically handing that new business to them.
This is where they bring in that global analogy, which I thought was just brilliant.
It really is. You look at these huge multinational companies, they don't just dominate one country and then stop
No, they're always expanding, pushing into new nations, new markets.
because they know that standing still is failing. They have to keep exploring to grow.
And the source just collapses that massive scale right down to the individual salesman.
Exactly. If a global company needs to explore a new country, which is, incredibly risky and expensive to grow,
Then shouldn't a smart salesman at least explore the next street over?
it's the exact same principle, just on a different scale,
Yeah.
which leads to another one of those sharp, memorable lines.
Big companies go to new countries. A smart salesman goes to new outlets in his own area.
So true. Okay, so moving to the practical side, the how-to. The source gives a clear action model, but it's still framed as a question.
It always comes back to the question.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
It asks you, simply, can you commit to adding just one new outlet today? Not 50, not 10, just one.
It makes it manageable, and that's where they introduce the 40+5 rule, right?
Yes, as a kind of aspirational goal. Can you visit your 40 old outlets and find 5 new ones? Now, 5 is a lot. That takes real effort.
It's ambitious.
Very. So the source immediately pulls back and removes any excuse. It asks, okay, if 5 is too many, is one new outlet not possible?
It's hard to say no to that.
It is. It's about building the habit of exploration. And to do that, you need the right strategy, which they call trial logic.
Which we saw with Ravi.
Exactly. When you walk into that new outlet, you have to ask yourself a critical question first. Is the priority here getting an order, or is it building trust?
And if you say the order is the priority,
Yeah,
you're probably going to fail. You're treating them like one of the old 40, and they don't know you.
right. You create pressure, you get rejected, and you've wasted your time. But if you prioritize trust, you change the entire dynamic.
You're not a salesman pushing a product anymore.
No, you're a partner. You're saying, I'm here to understand you, to see if my product can help your business. That lack of pressure is what builds loyalty. You're gathering intelligence, not just chasing a transaction.
That's the perfect way to put it. You're building an expanding foundation, not just trying to extract revenue. And the source really finalizes this idea with one more definitive statement.
The first visit is not for an order, but for understanding and connection.
So this whole deep dive really comes full circle back to that idea of a new morning, the whole journey of expansion, Ravi's 3,000 rupee jump, all of it. It starts by just questioning your own routine.
What we've learned is that your market potential isn't really limited by your territory. It's limited by your mindset, by the comfort of those familiar 40.
The path forward seems so simple, really.
Yeah.
Just commit to the principle of trying something new.
That's it. Which leaves us with one final, very common question for you to think about as you go about your day.
What's that?
If I add one new outlet today, won't my tomorrow be better?
That mindset of asking questions, seeking newness, and focusing on connection. That's what opens up the path. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. New outlet, new morning.